Hey guys, Lauren Losing here to answer the age-old question, was it the chicken or the egg? This actually wasn't posed as a question, but Less of Sarah said on the most recent Size Queen Saturdays that it was the journey that changed her and not the weight loss. And so I started thinking about it and thinking, you know, what's changed in me and what was the reason for the change, and was it the journey that changed me or was it the weight loss? And I have come up with my answer, and I also think I know the reason behind that answer. So I'm gonna get into it a little bit. So I'll just come right out and say that it was the weight loss that changed me and not the journey. I think, or I pretty much know that that is for a few reasons. One, I have been down to around this weight before. You know, I had gone from 220 to 140 and maintained around that, you know, between like 140 and 155. So, I mean, not this small, but almost as small when I was 21 years old. So I was prepared for, you know, not realizing your size and other people's reactions and that kind of thing. And the other reason is that I have worked on my mental stuff, you know, the mental side of this, for a long time. I have been working on my mental shit since I was about 13 years old. Periods of time when I was working on it a lot harder, and periods of time when I didn't have to work on it quite as hard. But yeah, there, you know, a few years before VSG, I was very suicidal. I hated myself. I thought that I was a burden to everybody. I didn't see I was hopeless. I really believed that everyone would be better off without me, and that was the only answer to end my pain and the pain and that I was afflicting on everybody else. That was not the first time that I felt that way. I actually attempted suicide twice in high school. So sorry if this is getting too deep into my shit, but I mean, there is a bit, I mean, I'm still here, so there's a happy ending. Yeah, so I have worked on my self-esteem. Obviously, since I'm still going through stuff, I'm not immune. I'm not immune to having, you know, I'm not bright and cheery and everything is perfect going on in here. Absolutely not. But I do know who I am. I knew who I was going into this, and everybody else knew who I was going into this. I had actually changed as I had gained back weight. So, you know, I was People always pointed out my confidence. People point out my confidence at work a lot. Because there are certain things, you know, if I know what I'm doing, then if I know what I'm talking about or whatever, I'm confident in it. So I think that for a lot of people, the journey changed them because that maybe VSG was the first step in the right direction, and it was really my last step. And MGH did a pretty good job of making sure of that. I think I mentioned a couple of times that my surgery was not approved for about 8 months. Or from my first appointment till my surgery, it was about 8 months. It wasn't approved until 6 months. And that was because they knew my mental history. They knew that I had been, suicidal, and that I had been treated for suicidality and depression and all that, and they wanted to make sure that I was going to continue to be mentally stable. So, I hope this isn't changing anyone's opinion of me, and if it does change your opinion of me, you can go fuck yourself, pretty much. I'm not someone to throw all this out there usually, but there's been a lot of suicide in the news in the past few months with Robin Williams and all that, and I think it's important for more people to be open about it. So, like I was saying, not that I have not changed since having surgery. I've changed a lot, but the ways that I've changed are because of the weight loss. You know, I like to get dressed now. I never leave the house in like sweats anymore. Like this is the scrubbiest I get, is like jeans and a sweatshirt, and I still feel a little weird doing that. I used to leave the house. I lived in yoga pants and hoodies when I was big. I didn't like to leave the house when I was big. And that was because I was self-conscious about how I looked. And now I don't like to be home as much. I like to be out there. Honestly, guys, I mean, I got a job working with eating disorders, which I've wanted to do for so long, and I didn't think that I should do that. I mean, this was just my opinion, and I'm not saying that people who are overweight or obese shouldn't work with people with eating disorders. That's not it. It's just, I didn't feel like I had my shit under control. So I don't really like the whole do as I say, not as I do thing. I think those people are hypocritical. And so I did not feel comfortable. You know, they say those who can't play coach or whatever. I don't, that's another thing to me. I find that hypocritical. It's like when you go to your doctor and they tell you to lose weight and they're obese. I mean, it's not coming, what you're saying does not carry much weight when you see that they're not following their own advice. So, you know, working with people with eating disorders and having the confidence to do that, and having the confidence to seek out my dream of doing that, came with the weight loss. I will say that I also think that the journey didn't change me as much because I wasn't in a relationship. I mean, I ended my relationship that was like a year and a half, year and 3/4 relationship a few weeks after surgery, but I knew before surgery that I was going to be ending it. I think that it helps that I was not married, because I do see, that the change, I feel bad for the person who I was with, because I was definitely holding her back. But like I said, it was purely the weight. My personality hasn't changed at all. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I've totally gained things on this journey, like the friends that I've made. But I don't think that it's changed who I am, and I think that my friends who know me, and have known me for a while, they can tell you that I haven't changed. I've definitely been happier. But that was, like, again, that's an effect of the weight loss, the unhappiness. I'm still, I said in my last video that I'm still, struggling with some anxiety and depression issues. The anxiety issues are, it's just, I don't deal with anxiety well. But the unhappiness that came from being overweight and not wanting to leave the house, the unhappiness that was controlled by my weight is no longer there. So there is that, level of happiness and brightness to me, like, now, that I feel like it's easier for me to take on the other parts that are making me unhappy. I'm so not eloquent with my words. I never make notes. So this is just coming off the top of my head. I did not prepare for this at all. I was just like, how do I feel about this? I feel like it was the weight loss. Why do I feel like this? Okay, let's sit down and make a video. So I don't know. I'm curious as to how you guys feel. If you feel like it was the journey that changed you or the weight loss. I do feel like I am, and this is not like, I'm not bragging. I do feel like I am a bit of like an exception to the rule of the WLS mindfuck mental breakdown thing for a few reasons, and those would be: 1, because I'm single. 2, I don't have kids. 3, I worked on my mental stuff for years and years and years before this. And let's see. 4, I have lost a ton of weight before, so I knew what to expect. And 5, like I said, this was my last step. This was my last step to becoming who I wanted to be. And I was sure. Very, very sure. Does it have to happen in that order? No. But I feel like there was nothing that I wasn't prepared for. So And so you guys know, when I've been saying lately that, like, I'm so glad I don't have kids, I'm not trying to be a put down to people who do have kids. I'm just saying it wrong. I'm being a negative Nancy, being like, oh, I'm so happy I don't have kids. I mean that I think that mothers are totally amazing, and I have no fucking idea how you guys do it. Because I would not be able to deal with myself right now. Sorry, something popped on my screen. I would not be able to deal with my own shit right now and deal with kids. And So I think that all of the mothers out there are incredibly amazing, and I don't know how you guys do it. I just know that I'm ill-equipped to deal with that, and who knows if I ever will be, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because I think it's come off as a little negative when I've been this is what I've been putting it on Facebook, being like, oh, thank God I don't have kids or whatever, and it's because I could not deal with the stress of taking care of myself mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and taking care of someone else or 2 or 3 other little people. So, props to you guys. Anyway, that was a weird tangent. Okay, guys, I think I'm done explaining. This video was a little happier than the one yesterday. I'm smiling a lot more. I'm in a bit of a better headspace today. Pushing forward, you know, onward, upward, downward with the weight, hopefully. I'm starting the Brazil butt lift program. There's like, when you order it, there's like 4 different programs. There's like the general, the lift, the tightening one, and then there's the volumizing one, and I'm doing the volumizing one. I want a bigger booty. Okay, now I'm just talking about random stuff. My back. Okay, so I better sign off. This is getting weird. Until next time.